Hey, this is Alicia,
This is Melissa.
and this is Dark.
Dark.
What ended up happening was last night we stayed up and watched the rest of Midnight Mass,
Mm.
which was
Haven't
really,
watched it yet. Don't give me any spoilers.
I won't, but there's this one part, it's like super deep. Travis just looked at each other and we're like, okay then.
Oh shit.
But yeah, it's really good. Definitely a different take on classic story. Loved it. Then after that, because we stayed up to 2 a.m., no, 1 a.m. with that, because we've been watching bits and pieces here and there. And about 1 a.m. was when that was done. We go to lay down in bed, and I'm going across stuff on Discovery Plus because it's like my favorite channel to watch.
Yeah.
There is a new show with Zach Bagans and Eli Roth. And for those of you who don't know who Eli Roth is, if you're a huge horror fan, you'll know who he is. He is the one who directed Hostel, Cabin in the Woods, and several other films. These are really well known for like horror genre. Him and Zach Bagans collaborated to create a show called The Haunted Museum, which at first glance, I thought it was Zach's old show where he was, talking about the items in his. It still is. It still is stories about stuff in his haunted museum, but the stories they're scripted and they're made up. But with Eli Roth directing it, it is scary as shit.
Gonna have to check that out too.
I'm the type of person, I'm desensitized to anything in the horror genre because except for if it comes to like with blood and gore, stuff like that, I don't really,
None of that bothers me.
none of that bothers me. It's just not my cup of tea. But
After you've watched, what is it? What is it called? Oh shit. I can't think of what it's called. Dom's dad made me watch it and I can't think of what it's called, but it was just all gore.
I don't know.
I can't either. I can't think of the name of it.
So last night I stayed up and watched 2 episodes of The Haunted Museum. And before I realized it, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I haven't gone to sleep yet. And we were supposed to be up at 7 o'clock this morning to get up to go to the house to start packing some more stuff up to take to storage. Here it is at noon, and I am just now waking up. And yeah, so there's that.
Oh shit. Bitch, I've been up since 6:30 this morning because I have to go to, well, I don't have to. I want to. I'm going to the twins' first birthday party today.
Oh, cool.
So they turned 1 on October 6th.
Wow.
So today is their birthday and I'm taking pictures for them and I get to see people from my high school.
That's so cool.
It's going to be fun.
Bet so.
It's going to be fun. Dom's asking me to dye his hair before we go. He wants red hair before we leave. So I haven't figured out if I'm going to do that yet or not.
Gotcha. Yeah. And and I am coming off of week 1. Yeah. Actually, it's not been too bad. Just this go round. Yeah. I've just been really tired. Headache. That's the biggest thing. It's just feeling like I have a migraine every day. But I will say one thing. I am so glad that I got vaccinated. Because I can imagine. I can so imagine what it'd been like. So there's that. And luckily, nobody else in the house has it.
Shocking.
Yeah.
That's a shock.
Nobody else in the house has it. So there's that.
Well, since you weren't feeling good, I made mine real short today.
I really appreciate that. And I'm excited to hear what it is.
It's real short.
Considering we gave listeners 3 episodes last
that you're not feeling good, I'm just coming off bronchitis.
Yeah. It's been a long week.
I made it short this week. I finally stopped hacking.
Well, that's important.
So there's that little tidbit. I finally stopped hacking.
Yeah.
Thank God. But this week, we're going to Ireland, like I promised. And I'm talking about the Banshee.
Okay, cool. I love this story.
It's really condensed because I couldn't really find a whole lot about just the Banshee.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about not doing this, but then remembered we've both been sick. We just did 3 episodes in one day.
Right.
We're gonna ease it off just a little bit for a second.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Let me get my notes here. And I'm gonna read a couple of Banshee stories too
Okay.
that I found. And shout out to Mysterious Universe, because that's where I got a lot of information from. They are the shit.
Okay.
So the Banshee is a female spirit that lives by a river or a stream that usually has the appearance of an old crone, but can turn into a beautiful young lady. And there's a couple of different descriptions of her. So she could be a beautiful woman in a cloak, a pale woman in a white dress with red hair, a woman in a silver dress with silver hair, a headless woman carrying a bowl of blood and is naked from the waist up. That's a new one
Okay.
for me.
That's something I've never heard of before.
An old woman with a green dress, red eyes, and silver hair, or an old woman with a veil covering her face and all black with gray hair. Now the headless one is a new one. I've never heard of that one.
Completely
Uh,
new.
yeah, that one's heckin' new. In Ireland, the Banshee is known as the Banshee. I'm gonna butcher these. The Bean Shidhe and the Baneside. In Scotland, she is known as the Bensaith and the Bed Shaith. I butchered every last one of those, and I know it.
I'm sure you're forgiven.
No one really knows if they are undead or the Fae, but there is a belief that they were women that died prematurely in a horrible fashion, such as murder or in childbirth. In the Middle
Yeah.
Ages, the Irish believed in these creatures who watched over the Emerald Isle. A banshee would stay with a family until all members had passed or were buried. And if you started with O, Mick, or Mac, you got your own personal banshee that followed you for generations. But
Well,
since a lot of them were colonized and the English came over and all that jazz, the names have changed. But mostly if it's O, Mick, or Mac, you got your own personal family banshee.
that's interesting. I was trying to think about in my family history if we had anybody like that, and
I have
honestly,
Murphy. That's about it.
I'm gonna do like the 23andMe ancestry thing
I
here
did.
soon. Yeah,
I did. I'm mostly Scandinavian and Irish,
very cool. Very,
with
very cool.
0.04% Nigerian.
That's awesome.
In some cases, the banshee is said to look like a washerwoman, only the clothes tended to be covered in blood. They also said to appear as a weasel, a sloat, which I had to look up what a sloat was, and it's just another little weasel. It's absolutely adorable.
Weasels. I can't wait. Oh, never mind. I'll talk about it after you get.
A hare or a crow. And these animals are associated with witchcraft and hearing a banshee during the day isn't unheard of. They are more likely to be seen and heard during the night. A version of the origin story says she may be the Morrigan. The Morrigan is the Irish version of the triple goddess and is also the goddess of death and war. Like the banshee, the Morrigan can be seen washing the blood out of warriors' armor or clothes.
I did not know that.
Yes, I was reading a book about the Morrigan, which I'm going to do the Morrigan eventually, but they go hand in hand in a lot of ways. Bive, which is one of the Morrigan sisters, is known to scream during war to let you know that people are going to die because there's Bive. So that's why they're known as the triple goddess.
Gotcha.
The Banshee can be found as far back as the 8th century. These women were women that would sing a mournful song at the passing of a warrior or a soldier. These women would be paid in liquor. The church saw this as evil and would forever be punished as
Being paid in liquor or being the banshee.
both. The church did not see, they're called keeners. I'm not even going to try to do the Gaelic word because I will butcher, but they're keening. So they're singing a sorrowful song. And this would be mostly for the rich and powerful and popular families would have these keeners, and they would be the ones who would help you through the grief process, and they would be paid in liquor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the church saw this as not good. And after the Keeners died, the church believed that they would become a banshee.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Sightings are few and far in between, though if seen, she will appear in a cloud. She will disappear in a cloud of smoke or mist, but you will hear the sound of wings because she's also known as a fairy, as part of the Fae, because Banshee literally means otherworld woman. And they think that she is that of the Fae.
Yeah, the Irish and the Fae, man.
Originally, the Banshee appeared for those who were going to die a horrible or violent death. In later stories, she would show up in heavily wooded areas at night, but rarely ever seen. Though non-believers say it could be the screech of a barn owl or a vixen screaming. Have you ever heard of barn owl screech?
Oh my God, yes. It is the scariest thing in the world.
It is fucking terrifying.
Honestly, I don't know what's worse, the sound of a bobcat crying or a barn owl screeching. It's neck and neck with me.
Barn owl screech is something serious. I listened to one because I was like, what does a barn owl sound like? So I looked it up on YouTube, and I can see why a banshee scream and a barn owl could be mixed up, because it said you could hear her scream from miles away. You can hear a barn owl from miles away, and a vixen scream is pretty serious too.
Yeah, exactly. But like, have you also heard of a rabbit dying before? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I did. His name was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sorry about that.
I heard that her screams are things of debate. In Leinster, the scream is so high it can shatter glass. In Tyrone, it is said to sound two boards slapping together. And Carrie, it is said to sound like a low, beautiful song, like a siren singing. Though everyone says it can be heard for miles, she can be heard several days before death, but also the day or the night of the death. It may only last a few minutes and will rise and fall. So it's going like she's singing.
Okay, gotcha.
The Banshee is pretty much harmless. People have felt dread from hearing her cry. People also say that she will knock or bang on doors and windows at night. That I've never heard of. I never heard of them actually banging on anything.
No, I've only heard of the screaming thing.
People also say they're not going to. However, there is a sister spirit called the Lihan Shahid, or the Sweetheart Fairy. She loved mortal men, and their love for her would drive them crazy and would eventually destroy themselves.
Gotcha.
Another form of the Banshee is called the Binai, or the washing woman. Instead of screaming, she is seen washing clothes of the person that is going to die in rivers, lakes, or streams.
I'd be crying if I had to constantly wash somebody else's clothes as well.
Sure, you're trying to get blood out of them?
Mm-hmm. A bit of club soda.
Peroxide, bitch.
Yep.
Peroxide. So there aren't very many shows. There's a lot of shows and a lot of places that have done the Banshee. Supernatural has done the Banshee in season 11, I think it was. Ghost Adventures, I could not get, for the life of me, could not get the episode. But I know that there is an episode where they think they heard the Banshee scream no. While they were doing the Fireside Caves. I think it is. I want to say it was Zach and Aaron were coming down the street in the dune buggy, and they still had the recorder going, but you heard something in the woods scream no.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode.
And they swear up and down they think it was the Banshee.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to read a couple of stories.
Okay.
My mother, when a young girl was standing looking out of the window in the house at Black Rock near Court, she suddenly saw a white figure standing on a bridge, which was easily visible from the house. The figure waved her arms towards the house, and my mother heard the bitter wailing of a banshee. It lasted some seconds, and then the figure disappeared. Next morning, my grandfather was walking as usual into the city of Court. He accidentally fell, hit his head against the cobblestone, and never recovered consciousness. This, in March of 1900, my mother was very ill. And one evening, the nurse and I were with her arranging her bed. We suddenly heard the most extraordinary wailing, which seemed to be coming from everywhere. We naturally looked everywhere to try and find the cause, but in vain. The nurse and I looked at one another, made no remark, as my mother did not seem to hear it. My sister was downstairs and seemed to hear it. My sister was downstairs with my father. She heard it and thought some terrible thing had happened to her little boy, who was in bed upstairs. She rushed up and found him sleeping. My father did not hear it. In the house next door, they heard it and ran downstairs thinking something happened to the servant. But the latter at once said to them, "Did you hear the banshee? Mrs. P must be dying." So that was story one.
Yeah, I've heard similar stories of people hearing screams or crying before a family member passed away. So I fall very much in line with what I've heard before.
As sensitive as I am, I've never heard a banshee scream, but I'm also don't think I'm that Irish.
That's a good possibility.
Next story. Some people believe in banshees. Only some families get them. I live in Ireland. My mother comes from a very old Irish family with written history going back centuries. They get visited by paranormal spirits in numerous ways, but one of those is the banshee. She had heard about them like when her uncle died and her father was visited that night. It first visited after she got married. In the middle of the night, it started wailing at the top of stairs at her bedroom. My father got up and noticed the bedroom door ajar. He went out to the stairs and caught a glimpse of it before it disappeared and the wailing stopped. Before morning, she got a phone call. Her father had died. I believed it appeared twice more over the years. The last time in January this year, as she walked her dog, a howl came from nearby. She knew what it was and ran back home. Our very close friend and neighbor dropped dead suddenly the next morning. Most don't believe, and it seems people don't get these death warnings anymore. So most joke about it. I'm naturally skeptical person about anything, but in our family, the even mention of the banshee will send a shiver up our spine. We don't question it. We don't joke about it.
Yeah, especially when like your family traditions like spark back so many years.
Yeah.
You don't
Don't
really
joke about
question it. Yeah, it's one of those things that families always have that one thing that's brought down by generation and generations.
And
the banshee is one of them.
that's the banshee. Told you it was a short one.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, I love the stories of the Banshee. There's so many different takes on it. You can even go back to the La Llorona as a spinoff of the Banshee.
Yeah. Which I'm going to cover her too. I have a
Right.
coworker whose family has actually dealt with Llorona.
Yeah, so you have that, and then also, of course, you have the infamous Lady in White sightings.
Every
You
state has.
right, so you put all that together, and it's the Banshees come from Irish folklore, but has basically spanned across other generations of
Oh yeah,
different
especially
cultures.
since a lot of people have Irish heritage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I've never stepped foot in Ireland. I want to, but I have Irish heritage in me.
Yeah, same.
So it makes me wonder if I have family over there that do have a beach.
That's something that'd be very interesting to look into. But yeah, I love that story. The Banshee is very interesting to me. Like I said, I love generational stories, things that come back from people's lineage, and it's kind of like the golem in Jewish religion, and it's just there's always something that comes with like family traditions. So awesome job as always.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry it's so short, but I know neither one of us would feel good.
I know it's perfectly fine. But yeah, so I wanted to tell you one thing before we were talking about Zach Bagans earlier. Did you watch the Goldfield Hotel episode yet?
I have not yet. I haven't had a chance to.
Okay, when you do, let me know, because there's going to be a part where you're laughing so hard, I bet you'll be on the floor just in tears.
Oh, probably.
But
He always makes me laugh.
yeah, I really want to talk to you about it today, but if not, I can't wait for you to watch it, because you'll text me. I know you will, because you'll be like, "Oh my God, what the hell?" I was laughing so hard. Like, even Travis was like just crying laughing. It was the best thing ever. But so last night I did a boo-boo, so I wanted to apologize to everybody. I used the word reports in a tweet last night.
I saw that.
I did not mean to use the word reports in the tweet. It was like midnight. I was exhausted. Came across this news article that popped up on my news feed about a body being discovered near the Appalachian Trail at one of the peaks at Blowing Rock, which is right at Boone, which of course is where Brian Laundrie has been sighted on the Appalachian Trail. I want to apologize and say that I did not mean to use the word reports when saying that there were reports of it being him. I meant to say rumors. I was exhausted. I do apologize.
Damn it, E. Already getting us in trouble.
I know, like, people were tweeting me, like, "Do better," and I'm like, Sorry, I did not mean to do that. Honestly, I was exhausted last night and I meant to say rumors and not reports. That was my bad. I do apologize. But I did make a tweet. I did tweet it out though. I was like, I'm sorry, I did not mean to use the word reports. I used the word rumors. Yeah. And then I did find the tweet from the woman who did discover the body that was found. And she said that it was not Brian Laundrie. Squish that rumor to rest.
The search continues.
And the search continues. Right now, the hot topic is a fake flower bed at the Laundrie residence.
Yes.
I'm like, what? So anyway.
Mom has been doing her gardening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But anyway.
The neighbors are charging the media to stay on their lawns.
Do you blame them, though?
Not even slightly.
I'm sorry, but if there was somebody in my neighborhood or like a street, or a house across from me or beside me or whatever, and the news media had a constant presence and they were like tearing up my grass and parking wherever the hell they wanted to, yeah, I would definitely be charging rental fees on that point.
Or it's rumored that they're charging.
Let's make sure we use the word rumor.
To be charging fees.
Shoot, I don't blame them. I do the same thing. It's kind of like whenever the race fans come to Darlington and people start charging the race fans like a fee to use their lawn.
Do they really?
Oh God, yeah. It's a big thing. If you live around the track anywhere, they will charge a fee for you to camp out or park your vehicles or whatever. And yeah, people make banks. Some people, that's half their salary for the year.
Darlington is a big race.
It's a big race town, so it's been like that since I can remember. Next week, I am going to I actually got this requested on Instagram.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. But so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know to get y'all hyped up for next week. My story is going to be on, oh my God, I just totally lost the names. Give me 1 second. Let me look it up. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I just woke up.
COVID is a bitch.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how to. Okay, there we go. It is going to be on Carla Homolka and Paul Bernardo.
Oh, I don't know those.
Okay, you think that the Moors murderers were bad? You just wait.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. This one, I'm going to be honest with you, this might actually be a 2. Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening in this week. Sorry it's a short one, but you know what? We're tired.
Last weekend kind of drained us. Man.
Yeah. Whew, and I still have a lot more to do. Oh my gosh. But yeah, guys, follow us on our social medias, which is at Dark Podcast US. Also find us on our email at
darkpodcastemail@gmail.com.
Awesome. And yes, I am aware that our podcast is not showing up on Spotify. I am working with Spotify to get that fixed. I'm just waiting on a reply from them to make sure we can get that carried over. It shouldn't be much longer, but you can find us on other platforms, pretty much every platform that's out there. Yeah, it's there. If you can't find it on Spotify, please check it out on our other platforms. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. We will see you, or we will talk to you next weekend. And you guys do us a favor and stay out of the dark. Bye.